Hello there, lovely ones. So we're going to go through the question from the paper 1, 2021, November, and it's 12b. It says you have 3 6-sided die that you use to create a geometric sequence or series by randomly generating or throwing the dice. One dice is red, and you'll see that I've put it over there. The other dice is blue, and the third one is green. So there's my green, and there's my blue. Carries on to say the number on the red dice represents the value of the first term, and that's why I've done a is equals to 6 over there, because it's 6 combinations. You either throw a 1 or a 2, etc., etc. Then the other 2 dice, you then take the value on the blue dice and divide it by the value on the green dice to generate a common ratio. So the blue dice also has 6 sides. So I've got 6 possible throws with the blue and 6 possible throws with the green, giving me 36 possible combinations for R. Now that means that the total number of possible calculations is going to be the 6 times by the 36, which gives us 216. And the reason we're doing that is because underneath it asks what is the probability that if you sum the series to infinity, it will converge on the number 10. So over here I've written down the sum to infinity formula. I'm going to now fill in the information. We want to see how we can get to the answer 10. And the way I'm going to do that is rearrange all of this so that it's easier to work with. So I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 1 minus r, and that gives me this. Then I'll divide both sides by 10, so it becomes a over 10, and I'm almost there, a over 10 minus 1, and of course that's minus r. And lastly, I multiply through by negative 1 so that I get negative a over 10 plus 1. Now the reason that's important is because it now gives me an idea of what I need to do, what the value of a is in relation to the value of r. If I were to sit and write down all of the combinations, I'd be here for a very long time, 216 different combinations. So let's focus on the value of a. As I said, there are 6 different possible roles to give us a value of a, and if we substitute those in, so for example for 1, if we put 1 in for a into that formula, we would get to the point where r would have to be 9 over 10. So that would have to be the value of r. Then if we were to substitute 2 in for a, we would get a value of 8 over 10, which can be simplified to be 4 over 5. And that once again would need to be the value of r. If we carry on like this, we'll be able to see all of the possible combinations that would work. And as you can see, as I'm doing this, a whole lot of them are looking like they won't. So 6 over 10 is equals to 3 over 5. And we're almost there, minus 5 over 10 plus 1, that's going to be the same as a half. A half is also the same as 2 over 4, which is also the same as 3 over 6. And lastly, negative 6 over 10 plus 1 is going to be the same as 4 over 10, which is also the same as 2 over 5. So looking through those now, we can see what are reasonable values for r. Remember that our top die can only be a value from 1 to 6, and our bottom one can also only be a value from 1 to 6. So when we've got a ratio of 9 over 10, there is no way that that's going to work. So I'm going to cross out that completely. Another one that won't work is when a is 3. And now let's go through the rest of them. So with this one, we can see that if the blue dice or die is a 4 and the green die is a 5, it's going to work. So here is one possible combination. With the next one, I have to have a common ratio of 6 over 10. That doesn't work, but I can do it with the blue die being the blue die being 3 and the green die being 5, so that gives me another combination that'll work over there. Okay, then we're looking at over here. And yes, we get an answer of a half. So that means if the blue die was 1, the green die could be 2, and that would work. Blue die 2, green die 4, and that would work. And blue die 3 and green die 6, that would also work. So in this case, we've got 3 possible combinations that will work there. And lastly, if A is 6, 2 over 5 would work, which means that I've got another 1 combination. So in total, that means I've got 6. There are my 6 combinations that we like that will work. And it's over 216 possible combinations, which gives us a final answer of 1 out of 36 combinations. So that's the probability that the sum of the series to infinity will converge on the number 10. That's enough from me. Much love.